When Shrimataji was born, India was not a free country. It was being ruled by the Queen of England. The people of India followed many different religions, including Sikhism, Christianity, and Buddhism. The majority of Indians, however, were either Hindus or Muslims. Under British rule, Indians were not given the freedom and respect to live according to their ancient traditions. After 300 years of foreign rule, the children of Mother India longed for their freedom. With Gandhi's leadership, Hindus, Sikhs, and Muslims worked together like brothers and sisters. They sacrificed everything to free their great country. Finally, in 1947, India won its freedom on the condition that the country would be divided along religious lines. The great nation was split into three. India became a country for Hindus and Sikhs, while East and West Pakistan, later Bangladesh and Pakistan, were created for Muslims. This seemed like a good idea at the time, but in reality, it was devastating. More than 1 million people had to leave their jobs and homes to start over in faraway places. It was a hard journey, and many old people and young children didn't survive. Grief grew into anger and then hatred. Neighbors who had selflessly fought together for their country's freedom now began turning on one another. There were riots along the newly created borders, and many people died. In 1948, countless Sikhs were killed in Punjab. Consumed by hatred, the Sikhs living in Delhi killed many Muslims in revenge. Around this time, Shrimataji lived with her husband in her father's house in Delhi. One beautifully warm day, Shrimataji was sitting in the front garden, knitting clothes for her unborn baby. She heard the sound of people approaching and glanced up to find 3 weary travelers walking along the street towards her. As they looked over at her, she smiled. Since arriving in Delhi, the travelers, Achala, Mr. Sachadev, and Sahir, had been walking for hours looking for somewhere to stay. They went from house to house asking for a room. They had very little money between them, however, and their clothes were worn and dirty. People took one look at them and turned them away. Without money or connections, no one was willing to trust them. Before finding Shrimataji, the travelers had slowed their pace, and their shoulders drooped, feeling dispirited. Achala was very tired and her feet ached. She saw a pregnant lady sitting in her garden, and when they walked past and saw Shrimataji smile, Achala felt such kindness that she summoned the courage to ask for help. "Please help us. We are refugees and have no place to stay." Shrimataji introduced herself and smiled kindly as she studied each of them. They looked like decent people, and Shrimataji felt their vibrations were all right, so she offered them accommodation in her house. That evening, Shrimataji prepared a delicious meal for her unexpected guests, and during dinner, asked how they ended up as refugees in Delhi. Between mouthfuls, Achala explained that she and her husband were Hindus from Lahore, now a part of Pakistan, so it was no longer safe to stay there after the partition. They had been forced to come to Delhi, leaving their home, jobs, and belongings behind. Shrimataji then turned her attention towards Sahir. "Achala mentioned that you are a Muslim. What made you decide to stay in Delhi with the danger you face here?" she asked. "I wrote some articles in college that offended some officials in Pakistan. A warrant has been issued in my name. I have no choice but to stay in India," he replied. Seeing that they were obviously exhausted, Shrimataji showed Achala and her husband to the apartment at the back of her house. Then she made sure Sahir was comfortable in the guest room. The guests were overwhelmed with this unexpected generosity and warmth. Shrimataji trusted them fully, without knowing them or asking for anything in return. In the evening, Shrimataji's husband and elder brother returned home. When they learned that Shrimataji had taken in 3 refugees, they were angry. "Who knows who these people are? They might be thieves," they cried. "What do you mean by keeping such people? Who are they? What will they do?" Mr. Srivastava demanded. "What can they do?" replied Shrimataji. "At most, they may steal something from me. But what is there in this house to steal?" No, better throw them out," Shrimataji's brother asserted. "How can you say that without even talking to them, knowing them? Suddenly you want our guests to get out only because they are refugees?" Shrimataji implored. "Why not let them stay one night, and they can leave tomorrow?" reasoned Shrimataji, as she managed to calm her brother and husband. Shrimataji knew that both men would have to leave early for work in the morning, and would be too busy to pay attention to her guests. In this way, Achala, her husband, and Sahir continued to stay with Shrimataji. A week or so later, there was a loud pounding on the door. "Open the door, or we will break it down," a man bellowed. Shrimataji told her guests to quickly hide as she answered the door. On Shrimataji's doorstep stood 6 large and fierce-looking men. The lines on their faces and bloodshot eyes showed the cruelty in their hearts. 3 men wore turbans, their bushy eyebrows drawn together in a stern scowl. In their hands were swords, sticks, and pitchforks that were splattered with blood. "We have heard you have a Muslim man staying with you. Hand him over to us. We want to kill him," they demanded. Shrimataji did not budge from the doorway. Seeing the anger and hatred in their expressions, Shrimataji realized that these men could not be reasoned with. "What makes you think there is a Muslim staying with me?" she asked them. "We have heard reports," the first man sneered, his mustache and beard twitching with the ugly curve of his mouth. "Wrong," Shrimataji countered confidently. "There is no Muslim in my house." "Why should we believe you?" the burly man at the back of the group seethed in an accusing voice. "Do you see this big bindi I am wearing?" Shrimataji asked, pointing to her forehead. As they gazed into her big red bindi, her Agya chakra, Shrimataji was able to draw out some of their negativity. Almost immediately, their expressions softened. The men were now caught in Shrimataji's maya, seeing her as one of their fellow Hindu fanatics. "I am a Hindu lady," she asserted. "How would I keep a Muslim in my house? We are all frightened of them. There is no one like that here." Shrimataji told them a complete lie, knowing that it was the only way to save Sahir's life. "If you want to come inside my house, you will have to go over my dead body," Shrimataji stated firmly. The men were shocked that a housewife, alone and unprotected, could refuse them so bravely. They had never encountered such a situation before. Feeling unsure how to respond, the men turned and left. Sahir had been hiding in the guest room, listening to this conversation as his heart pounded painfully in his chest. He was afraid that Shrimataji would hand him over and was amazed that she did not. After the men left, he went to Shrimataji and thanked her repeatedly with tears of gratitude in his eyes. "You saved my life," he exclaimed. Shimataji simply reassured him that it was the right thing to do. In such times of turmoil and chaos, when neighbors who grew up together turned against each other, Sahir didn't expect such love from a stranger. He was astounded by Shimataji's compassion, taking them in despite her family's protests and putting herself in danger for nothing in return. After staying for 1 month with Shimataji, Achala got a job at All India Radio in Delhi. After thanking Shrimataji for her kindness, Achala, her husband, and Sahir moved to their own place. Over time, they lost touch with Shrimataji, becoming busy with their own lives. Many years passed, and all 3 former refugees became famous. Achala became a popular actress, Mr. Sachadev a well-known writer, and Sahir a renowned poet. By this time, Shrimataji was also the vice chairperson of a charitable organization in Bombay that made dharmic films for young people. The organization was making a movie and having difficulty finding an actress for the leading female role. Some Sahaja Yogis wanted to ask Achala Sachadev if she would play the part. Shrimataji agreed, but told them not to mention her name to Achala because she might feel she had to accept the role. When the yogis asked Achala, she said, "You must buy me a sari, shoes, and a purse to match, as well as my regular fee." "But our organization is charitable," the yogis pleaded. Achala insisted, "Whatever it is, I cannot act for free, otherwise everyone will ask me. I must have these things before I accept." The yogis managed to convince her at least to come to the opening ceremony. When Achala saw Shrimataji at the event, she couldn't control herself. Tears started rolling down her cheeks, and she fell at Shrimataji's feet. "How are you here after such a long time?" she asked Shrimataji. "She is the one who is making the film," the yogis explained. "What? Why didn't you tell me? My God!" Achala exclaimed. Achala immediately called her husband and Sahir the poet. When they came, they told the yogis, "We would give our life for her. You don't know this lady. What she has done for us, no one else would have done." Such a change came over them that Achala insisted on paying to make the entire film. "Never again will I be so selfish," she lamented. The love Shrimataji offered them so long ago came back to her like poetry. The expression of their love for Shrimataji brought joy and beautiful vibrations to everyone present. After this incident, Achala, her husband, and Sahir turned their talents towards many charitable projects.